She stood at the counter with both hands wrapped around her phone, as if it were the only solid thing in the room. The bank smelled like polished marble and impatience. Lines of people waited, shifting their weight, glancing at watches, carrying the quiet tension of money not yet theirs. Outside, rain tapped the glass in thin, nervous fingers. "I just want to see my balance," she said softly. Her voice was steady, but it had taken effort to make it sound that way. Inside her chest, everything was loud. The man behind her laughed. It wasn't a cruel laugh at first. It was casual, careless, the kind that slips out when someone believes the world is arranged correctly beneath their feet. He was tall, perfectly dressed, his coat cut sharply at the shoulders, his watch heavy and bright against his wrist. He smelled faintly of expensive cologne and certainty. He had been speaking loudly on his phone moments earlier, complaining about a delayed transfer, about how inconvenient it was when millions took longer than expected to move. "Balance," he said, still smiling, as if the word itself amused him. "These banks always make it such a ceremony. If it's small, they make you wait. If it's big, they still make you wait." A few people chuckled. Not at her, exactly. Just with him. With confidence. With money. She turned slightly, enough to see him, enough to meet his eyes. She didn't look angry. She didn't look embarrassed. She looked tired in a way that sleep doesn't fix. "Yes," she said again. "I just want to see it." The teller nodded, tapping keys, asking for identification. The woman slid her card forward. Her hands trembled just a little, and she hated that they did. Trembling hands made people assume things. Weakness. Desperation. Need. The man leaned on the counter beside her, relaxed, amused, waiting for his turn to announce his importance again. "You know," he said, lowering his voice conspiratorially, "I once waited 40 minutes just to confirm a balance I already knew. Ridiculous. But when you have assets spread everywhere, it happens." She nodded politely. She had learned long ago that nodding cost less energy than correcting people. The screen in front of the teller loaded slowly. A spinning icon. A pause that stretched. The rain outside grew heavier, the sound deepening, like the sky itself was holding its breath. The teller frowned, then typed again. "Sometimes the system lags," the teller said, offering an apologetic smile. "It's fine," the woman replied. Her heart was beating so hard now she could feel it in her throat. Each second dragged her back through years she usually kept buried. She remembered counting coins at a kitchen table with a cracked surface, pushing them into neat piles, teaching her daughter how to add by whispering numbers like secrets. She remembered the heat of a summer when electricity was cut off and they slept with windows open, listening to other people's air conditioners hum through the night. She remembered signing papers she barely understood after her husband's accident, nodding again, always nodding, while men in suits explained loss in clean, professional language. She remembered promising herself she would never again let fear decide her life. The man checked his watch. "They should really speed this up," he said. "Time is money." The teller's eyes widened slightly. "Oh," she said. The woman's breath caught. The teller looked from the screen to the woman, then back again, as if making sure what she was seeing was real. Her fingers hovered above the keyboard. "Is something wrong?" the man asked, leaning closer now, curiosity replacing boredom. "No," the teller said slowly. "Nothing is wrong." She turned the screen just a bit, instinctively shielding it, then seemed to reconsider. She angled it outward. The numbers filled the screen, bright and unmistakable. There was a silence so sudden it felt like the air had been cut. The man laughed again, automatically, then stopped when no one joined him. "That can't be right," he said, his smile stiffening. "Probably an error." The woman stared at the screen. For a moment, she didn't breathe. She had imagined this moment 1,000 times and none of those imagined versions felt like this. There was no rush of triumph, no cinematic joy. There was only a deep, quiet ache loosening in her chest, like a knot finally giving way. "It's right," she whispered. The teller swallowed. "Your balance is correct, ma'am." The man leaned closer, too close, his confidence cracking just enough to show something raw beneath it. He read the digits again, slower this time. That's a lot of zeros," he said. She nodded. Yes. People behind them had gone silent. Someone dropped a pen. The rain outside softened, as if even the weather were listening. The man cleared his throat. "So, what do you do?" he asked, the question slipping out before he could stop it. It wasn't curiosity now. It was disbelief. A need to understand how someone like her fit into the world he thought he knew. She smiled then. Not wide. Not proud. Just honest. I waited, she said. He frowned. Waited for what? For the right time, she replied. For the right moment to stop being afraid. The teller slid a receipt across the counter with careful hands, as though it were something fragile. The woman took it, folding it neatly, placing it into her wallet. The paper felt warm, real. Proof without needing explanation. The man shook his head slightly, as if trying to wake from a dream. Inheritance. He guessed. A settlement. No, she said. She could have told him about the nights she studied after her daughter fell asleep, about the small business she built quietly while everyone underestimated her, about the risks she took when she had nothing left to lose. She could have told him about the investment she made years ago that everyone had laughed at, including men who sounded just like him. She didn't. It doesn't matter, she said gently. He looked at her then, really looked, as if seeing her for the first time. Not as a background figure. Not as someone waiting her turn. As a presence. I'm sorry, he said suddenly, the words awkward in his mouth. For laughing. She considered him. She saw a man who had never been invisible, who had never been doubted in quiet rooms, who had never measured groceries against rent. She saw fear in his eyes now too. A different kind, but fear all the same. It's all right, she said. You didn't know. She stepped away from the counter, her legs unsteady but strong. As she walked toward the door, the rain slowed, thinning into mist. Light slipped through the clouds, pale and hesitant. Outside, she paused under the awning. Her phone vibrated in her hand. A message from her daughter. Did you check it? The text read. She smiled, warmth spreading through her chest. Yes, she typed back. I saw it. A few seconds passed. I'm proud of you, Mom. Her eyes filled, and this time she didn't fight it. The tears came quietly, blending with the damp air, carrying years of silence with them. Behind the glass, the man watched her go, the screen still glowing in his mind. Numbers he had thought belonged only to people like him now carried a different weight. She stepped into the street, the city moving around her as it always had, unaware that something invisible but profound had shifted. For the first time in a long while, she wasn't just surviving the world. She was standing in it. And she no longer needed anyone to laugh, or approve, or understand.